Okay, so we're using cadmium red light, cadmium red medium, and alizarin crimson. And I think the crimson is going to be more for the dark areas. This dress is not very, like, it's not a dark red. So we're okay using cadmium red medium and cadmium red light. I think cadmium red medium more, especially more than cadmium red light, especially for the first layer. I like to start with darks. And it's going to dry darker anyway, so. This area right here has a bit of alizarin in there. Actually, this part in there has just alizarin. And now if I want to, let's say, because this area is dark and it has a bit of alizarin, if I want to do a highlight for the dress, I'm just going to do that. Because that's what I'm seeing in there. Seeing a bit of highlights in there. Okay. Wow, it's so strong, but I love red. Yes, we'll need another layer because this is the first one. So for sure, we're going to need another layer. Very soft touch because red takes time to dry, and if you're hard on your brush, then it will lift the color. I'll deal with the dark color after. Usually what I do is I start with dark alizarin crimson, mix it with cadmium red medium, and then I highlight. But in this case, the dress is really light, so we don't need to go dark first. I'm sorry, I have to turn this around so I can get a good. Check and see if you are getting a too light, your color is too light, the red, and it needs a bit of darkening. Just add a bit of alizarin in there if you find that it's too light. Actually, I'm liking the dark color in here. The one in the reference is a bit too light. All right, it's lifting because there's too much water here. So I'm gonna let it dry a bit and then go back. Meanwhile, I'll work on the rest of the dress. Should work on that. Okay. Okay, switch to a round brush. And I'm just going to come here and put some darks with my alizarin crimson. Blend it in softly, because this is where I'm going to be putting some detail because of the bow. I'm just blending soft because I put alizarin crimson and it's really dark. So I am just in this area adding a bit of cadmium red light, cadmium red medium. Okay. All right, let's do. In my brush, I'm going to take cadmium red medium and cadmium red light. And I'm just going to work on this with a round brush. It's much easier to control the detail. Okay. This is mostly filling. Okay. Oh. A bit of darks in here with the bow, where the bow is, so I can highlight. So alizarin crimson. Okay, so filled out, I filled now the most of the colors. I can't see, and that's what I want. I don't want to see the canvas. Now I'm just going to use alizarin crimson and put a bit of, just a bit. I'm going to be highlighting this area, so it's not the final. It's just for me to see. Okay, a bit here. Okay. Shall I stop for a minute, or are you okay?
Stop for a minute.
All right. Okay, small round brush, cadmium red medium, and I'm just going to put the first layer for the shoe. Just cadmium red medium. You know, when you work on a smaller size, not smaller size, I mean darker kind of surface that's primed, it's easier because the first color you put there, it turns dark because of its dark surface. So the first layer gives you that, automatically gives you a dark color, and then you can highlight from there. So I believe she has, we can put that, or we don't have to, but I believe she has a strap right there. Okay. First layer is done. It's good. We're gonna let it dry. And then I'm gonna do this one. When this one, we see only the heel, nothing else. Just heel. Okay, I'll highlight it a bit after. Now, let's go back, let's go up. And try to highlight. Okay. I'm gonna adjust before I continue. Adjust the focus. That's better. I'm gonna go with a slightly wider brush. I'm gonna stay with, for now, with round. Now I'm gonna take cadmium red light, mix it a bit, mix a bit of cadmium red medium in it. And I'm gonna come here where the light is, from this side. First layer, I don't want it to be too light. It's good, it's okay this way. Now I'm gonna take more cadmium red light and just do this. And voila. Because I have already dark in there, it worked out very well. And go down a bit. So as soon as I go down, start going down, I'm using now cadmium red medium. And I'm gonna go back. This part here is lower than this part. So it's gonna be darker. I'm gonna take a bit of alizarin on my brush and just darken this. So in one area, I would have three kind of highlights in there. So I have another layer of cadmium red light and mix it softly, if possible, with cadmium red medium. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'll go back with cadmium red medium. I just want to, right now, because I have cadmium red light, I just want to highlight this area. Okay, let's do another, soften this a bit. It's too many wrinkles. That's better. It dries darker anyway, so it's fine. Let's do this part. And that's cadmium red light. Okay. So I'm gonna have, I mean, if we turn this reference into black and white, you will see different values right now. And especially because it's red, you don't see those values, different values. So you'll see way better where the dark is and where the light is. And because it's very subtle right now. In color, you can't see it. It's good. Let's do the other side. Again. That's cadmium red light and cadmium red medium. It's subtle right now. It's there. The highlight is there, but you can't see it that much because I'm mixing both colors together. Because I don't want the cadmium red light to jump. I want to see the fabric detail, but subtle. And then I will increase the highlight slowly. I think I went a little bit too light. So I'm going to use alizarin crimson to darken this area. Okay, let's go to cadmium red light now, and then just kind of softly highlight and highlight here a bit so I can see where her armpit is, but not too strong. So instead of putting a dark line, I would just highlight a bit this area here. And let's do the same. Clean up. I'm just going to adjust the other side of the dress because this part is wider than this. I'm just going to push it in. I'm using alizarin crimson and red, any red. I'm going to take cadmium red light. If I find that the paint is not cooperating, it's not working the way it should, I just leave it to dry and then I go back. Okay. Now, this part, these two parts right there are dry, so I'm taking cadmium red light. Again. Right, that's good. Let's try to do the ribbon. Now, I have a really dark area here, which is great. So I'm going to take both cadmium red light and cadmium red medium. And I'm going to start with the knot in the center, because this will give me a good idea for the detail. All right. Cadmium, those two cadmiums mixed together are medium tone. They're not the highlights yet. So this is just kind of perfect for now. Now I'm going to go back, take both colors again. And I'm going to come here. I'm just trying to see if I can get the detail I'm seeing there. But if I can't get it exactly the same, it doesn't matter. As long as I get some kind of a bow detail. The thing I think is not to get not to make a sharp line, have a sharp line from here to here. So slowly I know this is a double bow. This is what I'm seeing in there. It's two bows on top of each other. I'm going to simplify this. There's no need to do double bow. Okay, again, this part. outside in is I think a better way of doing this, and make this a bit sharp here, pointy, and we'll do this one too after. That's good. So by using doing the highlight from here in, it's better, because what I'm doing, that will make a soft dark in here. But if I start with, which I did, I started from here out, it's harsher. I lost some of the darks in here. So I'm gonna put them back. Just a couple. Using alizarin crimson. Good. Now, I'm going to take now cadmium red light. And then start from out, because this is what I'm seeing. It's very, very subtle. The highlight is not that strong. Again. Wow, that's strong. The thing with satin, usually with this kind of fabric, is the fold. Whenever you get a fold, you get because it's stiff, you don't get a fold that is tight. It's a wider fold, and the highlights usually, or the value, is very close to each other. So it's like there's no jump unless it's the last kind of line that you put in there, and it's not strong. So the jump of the highlight is not strong. So you have a subtle, soft transition from light to dark. Cadmium red light. I'm gonna highlight the top of this knot. This is strong right now. That's the dark is really strong. So I'll let it dry a bit, and then I'll fix it. Very hard with acrylics to do this. This is a really subtle kind of transition from dark to light. I'm going to try to avoid lines that are repeating the same. Sorry, I have to turn this around because I want to start from my highlights from here in. I find that doing from out in is much better for where the fabric gathers, and then where the knot is. It's softer in here. I'm softening this a bit, it's too dark. Okay. All right. Okay, and I'll let it dry a bit so I can see how dark it's gonna go, because I can see this is light. It needs to be darkened a bit. Meanwhile, let it dry and I'll work on the dress a bit. If you want me to stop, let me know. Soft red. Cadmium red light. And I'm going across. It's very soft. It's round brush. My brush is not loaded with too much red. Okay, I have to change. Wider brush. So what I'm going to try to do, instead of using, because those little dark details in here are soft, I'm going to do it the other way around. So I'm going to highlight, and then I'm going to go with the darks and put them in. This is acrylics, so it's not gonna, it is very, and red, so it's going to be very hard to get a smooth kind of finish. We don't have time to blend, and even if we have time, it's red, so color is not that easy to manipulate. I'm putting quite a bit of water in here on my, not much, but my brush is wet. It's not dry. I can see in the picture, in the reference, I can see that this part right now where I'm putting color is slightly lighter. So I'm going to take cadmium red light only, and the color is wet. So I'm going to try to do this, try to highlight this area, blending it softly because it's wet, if possible. It's drying so fast. So I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. Bigger brush will cover more. Okay, that's better. Just needed a bigger brush. All right. Turning the brush around so I get nice soft as cadmium red light now. And instead of using my brush flat, I'm going to turn it around a bit to see if I can get a bit of kind of a soft highlight. I know this is not in the you don't see this in the reference, but I think it's nice. I like it. Okay, so for this part, I used alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson is transparent. So wet my brush, put alizarin crimson, mix the alizarin crimson, just pick it up on my brush, and this is already transparent again because I put water. Then take my wipe it, come here, and I just went across. So this is like with the tip of my brush, very, very soft. More like not across straight line, across kind of a very soft movement. Have curved movement. And then I'm going to take cadmium red light, mix it a bit with cadmium red medium, and come here, and then just kind of soften all around where I put. Okay, my brush is dry. Where I put the alizarin crimson, soften all around it. The same movement. Curve. Dip my brush in water, pick up the color, wipe. If you don't want to do this, no problem. There's no need. It's fine. Straight down is fine. Again, this is acrylics. It's not oil. So doing something like this is not easy. acrylics dries darker, and it's harsh. So when it dries, you have harsh edges. So doing soft, detailed folds is not easy. Okay, let's work on the shoes. I'm going to take cadmium red light and I'm going to highlight the heel right here. This is where it's actually coming. It goes out. It's higher. So because it's higher, it's lighter. And the heel is round and highlighted. Not the heel. This is this the heel? Or is it? I'm not sure what it is. Like the back of the heel. This is the heel. So I'm going to highlight this, leaving a line in between. So I'm going to be highlighting the heel, and it's kind of a round, soft round. So there we go. And then we have here. Okay. Again, I'm going to take alizarin crimson, a bit of alizarin crimson in here at the bottom of the heel. I think this heel is dark red. And there. Okay, there we go. That's done.